Alright guys, I'm back for the 2007 Nightster rear brake pad change. We just did the front, the rear is going to be the exact same thing. First thing I did was I got this little bolt out, unscrewed it, pulled it out, got my 3/16 Allen key, loosened up this retainer bolt here, and I'm going to unscrew it and pull it out, but not all the way, only enough to slide the first brake pad out. Again, you want the spring to remain in place, so you want to have one brake pad in there at a time holding it in. Otherwise you got to take the assembly off and it just becomes a lot more difficult. The white stuff falling off is Loctite. I used it last time, I won't use it again because it was kind of a bitch to loosen it up. Alright, and again, got the first one out while you leave the retaining pin in there. Just pop it out. Here we go. See if we can compare this to the new one so we know which one to use for the appropriate spot. It'll be this one. Now let's see if we can show you the difference here between the two pads. That's pretty big difference. The thickness between the front and the back. So this one's gonna be a bitch to fit in here. Okay, you just want to slide it in. Which reminds me, I didn't do the brake reservoir. Alright, to get this brake reservoir out, you're just going to get this little cover thing to the side, and then for the rear you're just going to go ahead and, pretty sure you're just going to unscrew this. Okay, make sure you have somewhere clean to put the top of this reservoir because you don't want to contaminate your fluids here. Alright, looks like I gotta add a little bit, but that could just be because the pad is out. Alright, and now by doing that, I'm gonna allow myself to move this back and forth here. Add a little lube to the back of this, so when that caliper piston comes out of its bushing and engages this pad, it won't make the squeal that you don't want to hear, that nobody fucking wants to hear. Alright, see if I can get it in here. Again, I'll try one-handed before I ask the wife to come out here and help me out. I want to show you something I did here because I was having a bitch of a time getting that in. I pulled this all the way back, alright, and in doing so I gave myself some space between the disc brake and this pad that we left in, and I went like this and pushed it all the way so I can get that caliper back into the bushing. Now with the caliper back into the bushing, I can push this all the way out here, all the way to this side, that way, and I have a lot more space. I don't know if you can tell here, but I got a lot more space, and this should be able to pretty much just, oh yeah, it just slides in now. Okay, so now easy Just slid it right in there. Again, I'm going to use the Allen key to hold it in place. Alright, I needed 2 hands for that one, so put the camera down, but the Allen key is holding this in place. Alright, I know it's hooked over on the bottom part where it needs to be. I'm going to go ahead and pull the retainer pin all the way out. It released the inside brake pad. Inside just meaning more toward the caliper and the bushing. Alright. I'm going to lubricate the new one. As you can see here, this is where the caliper is pushing onto the brake pad to engage the rear brake. Alright, we don't have to worry about this being super clean because it's going to get really dusty anyway. I mean, look at that one. That one's really kind of crapped out there. So, got that cleaned up or lubed up. I'm going to slide this in. Should slide pretty easily inside there. Alright, as you can see, the brake fluid came up a considerable amount because of that pressure that I used to move that caliper out of the way. I'm going to get my retaining pin. Again, not a one-handed job here. But there is a spring in there, so it's pushing this out. You got to get it pushed in there. Alright. Now that's back in. I can start moving that out of the way. See when I move that, how this just went down? There's a spring there that's holding it up. So, see if I can, there we go. Got the retaining spring in there just enough. Alright, and now I'm just going to have to line all these up and get that pin all the way through. So let me pause so I can do that. Literally it took just a second. What I did was this retaining pin was a little cockeyed, so I put my 2 fingers here to hold this that way, and then I took the edge of my Allen key, stuck it in, and just wiggled it around until I got it all the way through. So now, all I gotta do is tighten it up. Alright, and before I work on this time I'm gonna take my brake fluid reservoir and seal that back up. Just so there's less time that it's open and open to the elements with a chance to be contaminated by some dust or fucking bug decides to fly in there or whatever. Get that on there nice and tight. Pull this cover back up. Sorry for the camera wiggling around so much, guys. I'm a little on edge today because of some other crap that occurred. So I'm a little, or maybe I just need a beer. That's probably it. Get this nice and tight. Hopefully it goes by a lot quicker. Actually, you know what? This time I'm just going to pause it till I get that all the way tight so you don't have to watch me screw the whole thing in. Be right back, guys. Got that in there. I'm going to put this little cover back on. This little metal cover here that goes right in there. This one's a little trickier because this suspension, rear suspension is in my way. But it's going to go in there and I'm going to screw it in. I forgot to tell you guys, remember we depressurized it because we opened up the reservoir. So come over here. It's going to fall. There we go. Get that pressure built back up so when it's time to ride, you're pulling out of your driveway, the rear brake doesn't just give out on you. And that should be it. Hope you enjoyed. And ride safe, guys.